on to you Leos out here. Hopefully y'all are having a good day. I'm doing this at night. So what's going on with you, Leos? You have the Strength card, which is a Leo. First card out. Page of Pentacles, and then you also have the Ace of Swords. So, a lot of you Leos, your patience is being tried. Someone is trying to try your patience. They're trying to make it look like you're weak, or they're doing things that are disrespectful. And you Leos essentially are not really going for it. But you've grown though. You know, back in the day, you Leos would have, you would have walked them down. You would have went and go checked it out. Why is it that they're doing that in the first place? But the Ace of Swords represents today, you're not doing it anymore. You don't care to, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you put in so much work to the point where you don't care to, people know what it is. People, they come on now. They know what it is. They know that you're not a punk. They know what type of time it is. The people who know you. And so you built up that confidence enough you Leos built up that confidence enough to see that this is basically a bait, right? A lot of you Leos in the comment section going, wow, I see y'all. And y'all are like, people really trying to start something. Yeah, people, put it like this, right? Put it like this. And I've talked about this before, right? Young Dolph was a Leo. Nipsey Hussle was a Leo. Peep game. You understand what I'm saying? Like, peep game to that, right? I already done told y'all the story of my sister's pops. That what happened to him, unfortunately, Leo, right? You dig what I'm saying? Like, peep game to this. You feel me? People are jealous of you Leos, and then they use their jealousy as justification to disrespect you and to want to try to like do something to you to get you to get caught up out of your position, right? You do something stupid, right? You want to confront them, but a lot of you are like, nah, that's not going to happen because number one, you know what type of time it is. See, a lot of times people don't really be understanding that. Like, it's, especially if you know what type of time you on, you let people have it because you know what type of time you on. You know what I mean? Everybody know everybody who know you know what type of time you on. They know, my next door neighbor catches people trying to take my packages. My next door neighbor will be the one to tell him, yo, you don't want to take from homie. That's not the person you trying to take from. That's what no, seriously. They know what it is. They know what it is. So you Leos know what it is. So you Leos understand you don't have to go hard. You're just going to look at people like they stupid. So the thing is that because they are stupid. The 10 of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords right here is, yo, it's hot in this room, son. Yo, it ain't cold yet. Anyway, so the 10 of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords right here is about how a lot of you Leos ultimately are like, honestly, a lot of you are good with the accomplishments that y'all are making and getting to the point where, once again, like you see that you can't let other people get you out of your position, get you to do something really stupid. And so the 7 of Swords represents, they basically, so the fact that you Leos are on some Ace of Swords in this deck, where you understand what type of time it is, because Swords isn't necessarily for like going at somebody in this deck per se. It can be. Swords is really the mind in tarot. It's really the mind. It's really the mental, right? And so a lot of you understand, like, where this thing is going. You Leos understand that this person is trying to get you, like these people in general, trying to get you out of position. So a lot of you Leos understand if you allow this person to really get you upset past the point where you feel like you're gonna do something or say something that's gonna get you fired, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. A lot of you Leos know what it is, and so y'all are just not falling for it. And so now you have the Seven of Swords. This person, what is happening is this person is making themselves look stupid doing it, right? Like my mother had a situation when she used to work on her job, right? I'm not gonna tell you where. She used to work on a job, right, when she was still working. She used to tell me, she used to come home and tell me, you know what I'm saying? She used to come home and tell me like about certain things and certain situations that she had on a job. And it came to a point where this person kept messing with her all the time on the job. I told my mom, I was like, you know what? Just ignore her. Just brush her off. She would later get fired. This is after my mom retired and been left, but she would get fired because what happens on the job, what happens, right? In a general sense, job out in the streets, no matter where it is. This is why it is I say, you know, let a lot of that stuff brush off your shoulders, because what happens is that it's a roll of the dice, is what it is. It's a roll, it's a chance. They're trying to get you upset to where you wild out and say or do something stupid. But if you don't do that, they look stupid because they have to up the ante. They have to get more aggressive when it comes to, because what happens is that they have to get they have to get more aggressive when it comes to trying to get you Leos to lash out at them. But the fact that you Leos are not doing that, the Seven of Swords represents they're making themselves look really stupid amongst other people, right? So in the street, they looking stupid. If it's like a romantic situation, they're trying to get into arguments. On the job, they look stupid. You know, people looking at them like they're not stable. You know what I'm saying? But then you have the King of Wands. Again, you understand what type of time it is. You are tempered and under control. You have your emotions under control. You know, so even though Leo can be an emotional sign more than what y'all want people to think you are, you actually have yourself quite under control. Your emotions quite in check. And again, the Queen of Wands. So you have the King and Queen of Wands, right? King and Queen of Wands here. And so this is also about how not only that, but also it's at a point where, you know, careful not to get upset. Careful not to say anything that will have you Leos look or sound out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like I said, keep your emotions under control. A lot of you probably have, good. Okay? Then you have the Queen of Wands, which represents let everything roll off your back. Let it slide, because the more they wild out if they don't get fired, if it's the job, then they see it gets to a point where they will have to do it. They would have to, because some of these jobs hire people to be like snitches and to be provocateurs, truth be told. Some of these jobs hire people knowing that the person is going to be like a little snitch. And they do that purposefully, truth be told, if I'm really going to go there. And it's the same thing as what it is that I was telling my mother while she used to work at that job. I'm not going to say where and doing what. But I used to tell my mom, right, when it got to a certain point, I gave her game. I was like, look, don't even worry about that. She was like, why? I was like, because at the end of the day, those people wilding, they're going to put themselves in a messed up disposition. And you don't have to worry about it, because they're so focused on trying to get other people to like be upset and like lash out at them, and then they'll go and report them, never and act like they didn't do anything, right? Or to like cause commotion and then run back to get people fired and everything and written up and all of that. They have to keep doing this. So what it ends up happening is, if they don't really get a response from people the way that they think that they would from a lot of people, they're the ones that's wilding out, because they're the only ones that's actually doing something, because nobody is participating with them in the BS. And so the things that the Ten of Wands is that a lot of you, like, a lot of you, once again, head of the curve, you're not, some of you Leos may leave the job. Some of you Leos may be like, yo, especially if you get like a better job offer, some of you Leos will plain flat out leave the job. Some of you will be like, yo. Then you have the Three of Wands and the King of Cups. Three of Wands and the King of Cups right here represents how a lot of you are in a position where, once again, the Three of Wands is all about how you have a future ahead of you, regardless of if it's with a company or without that specific company. You have a future. I've talked about this before in the last Leo reading. Things are happening for you where, again, you've already met certain goals, right? You've already reached certain goals, so you're on point in that regard. And then you have the King of Cups. And so the King of Cups right here for you represents how this is a position where really what it is that you've got going on is that again, you really you don't, a lot of you probably don't even really care. Are they a little bit annoying? Yeah, a little bit, but nothing to really act goofy over and confront them and start wilding out and all of that. And you're right, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the goofballs who low-key implied they're gonna do, you're not gonna do anything, Joe. You're not gonna do anything, and I would it got to a point where, like, at first I used to take it seriously. It got to a point when I really started to pay attention to my disposition and my position. I was like, I ain't even gonna go ahead and report it, because it's so goofy, right? And same situation with you. It gets to a point where it's so goofy because they don't do their job, right? They on the job BSing all day because they just trying to get people to wild out and to say something so that they could run back and talk wild about you, about how you wilding out. If it's a relationship type of thing, they just trying to play a victim. And truth be told, if you really want me to suggest to you, again, I'm not telling you what to do, flat out what to do, right? Or telling you whatever. Y'all are adults. Y'all gonna do whatever y'all want to do at the end of the day. If it was me, if a person is wilding out where me and a significant other can't get along, I'm dumping them. I'm gonna keep it 1,000%. I'm gonna keep it a thou wow with y'all, 1,000%. I'm not going for that. I'm serious. I'm not going for that. Because let me be in a relationship with anybody who I'm courting, right? And trying to get to know. And all they trying to do is argue all day. Everything is an argument. I tell you to do something, it's an argument. Especially if you're going to benefit from it, which you will. Because of course I'm thinking about us. We're in a relationship, right? So you going to benefit. Let a person all up in my ear, bugging. They don't want to listen to anything that I'm saying. I'm going to be like, listen, again, my dear Leos, once, I don't know about y'all, but me personally, once I ask myself, do I really want to be in a relationship with this person? It's over. It's over right there. Let's clarify the King of Cups. It's over right there, because what it implies is, it says that the person is so goofy. They're making so much arguments. They're making so much bickering and arguing, right? They're so like it's so dysfunctional to the point where I'm just looking at this and I'm pondering to myself, do I want to put up with this for the next 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? That do I want to put up with this person bickering and arguing for the next 5 years, 10 years? The answer to that is no. No. So you have the star card, Seven of Wands. You Leos have the Nine of Swords, the King of Swords, and then you Leos also have the Four of Cups. So what's going on here for you Leos is that what you've got going on is that the star card, the Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Swords speaks to how you Leos are in a place where, you know, they're gonna be kind of like low-key wanting you to go back and forth, but you denying them that attention, you're gonna see how they're gonna do wild, silly stuff in order to try to get you Leo's attention, whether it's on the job or romantic. And then the King of Swords and the Four of Cups here represents, once again, don't pay them any attention. Just pay attention to what you got going on, right? For real. Four of Cups, they're going to be low-key asking you to get into, like, confrontation and odd discussions with them. I'm telling you. You know, when you observe how people move, it's actually quite interesting how it is that they move, right? People will listen to you in arguments. They'll listen to you. You'll tell them to get out of there. They'll actually leave. You feel what I'm saying? You know, when people are trying to get on your nerves, you don't pay them attention. They actually want, you realize once you observe them, they actually want your attention, right? Because when you don't pay them any attention, you just leave them out, right, of the equation. You just do your own thing. They're low-key kind of trying to be friends with you, right? Because they want your attention now. So it's like, it's this weird dynamic of, aren't you adversarial to me? Why do you want my attention so much, right? Because that's what they do. The job is secondary and even tertiary. What's most important or primary is the attention. That's why when you don't give them any, that's why they want to be friends and then they betray you afterwards. Goofy stuff. But that's it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 100K. We're at 27,255 subscribers. Smash the subscribe button, like button, hit the notification bell, set that notification bell to all. Also, too, if you want to come through and get a personal reading from me, the link to that is in the comment section below. Call the link tree link.